What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's Battles. Today we've got some Total War Warhammer 2 1 versus 1 ladder action for you guys, and we have taken the Dawi, the stout folk. We've got the bearded boy wonders themselves. We do have we're facing off against Bretonnia, and I've taken Ungrim Iron Fist, the Slayer King himself. So as I have said before, those Slayers are sworn to die fighting in battle against the biggest and the baddest, and Ungrim himself is ready for action. So we've also got here, these are pretty much my favorite dwarf unit, the Warhammer and Ironbreakers, with their, just tons of blasting charges these guys have, plus just huge. You see that 86 melee defense, 125 armor. Those guys are just beastly. We've got some some Longbeards up here in front. You see with up to two silver chevrons, so at rank 6 or rank 5. These guys have 56 melee defense, so they're looking really good. So we've got the Grumbling Guard here up in front to give some armor piercing, and also to use the old Grumblers. So we got 2 great weapons, 2 regular Longbeards. We've got Ungrim. We do have a Runesmith here to give us those extra defensive boosts, keep us alive a little bit longer. You can see here we've got Rune of Negation, we've got Rune of Wrath and Rune, we've also got Rune of Oath and Steel. So I don't always bring the plus 30 armor just because the dwarfs have so much. But against Bretonnia, I thought maybe they might have a lot of armor piercing. So over here on the right flank, we do have one group of Slayers here. We've got a second group here that are protecting our single cannon that we've got up there on the hill. We've also got 2 groups of warriors with great weapons, and the reason we brought the great weapons this time is these guys with those axes, they can definitely cut down some cavalry pretty good. So those axes should be able to help us out, and we've brought some fun for the boys. We've got these Trollhammer Torpedoes. So these guys are awesome looking. They're they're not always the best in most situations, but they do have anti-large, so we'll be able to smash them into some cavalry. I figured if there was some Grail Guardians or Grail Knights or something, they'd be perfect targets. And it looks like my opponent, of course, being Bretonnia, does have some cav. So here he's got some mounted yeoman. He's also got the Green Knight up in the air. He's got 2 groups of Royal Pegasus Knights, as well as Alberic de Bordelot. And he also has a ton of armor-piercing Footsquires. So these Footsquires, although they don't have the best combat stats, they do have armor piercing. They are pretty much one of the only units for Bretonnia that can kill the dwarves. And you see he does have a bunch. So he's got the Green Knight. He's got Albert de Bordelot. So I've seen this happen quite a bit now where players don't bring offensive magic that much against the dwarves, and I just want to let you guys know that it is still useful to use offensive magic. Just because it's a little bit weaker does not mean that it is no good. But either way, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and get this battle started, and we'll go ahead and show what happens as we start moving up. So right off the bat, you'll see here I do have this cannon over here on the right flank. I'm going to start moving up, and you see how I'm trying to get it placed way up here. We also have that group of Slayers, and if we can keep them fighting up here at the top, that is going to be really good, because we will be able to get some shots down, like, right in here. And all we have to do is, at this point, we're rushing our army forward. I'm trying to make it so that we can get up, set up a little bit in front here, so that getting through this is not so easy. And then, we should be able to really hold our fire from up top up there. So we'll go ahead and just move it forward just for 1 second here as we start to move up. All right, there we go. You see there was the first shot taken by that cannon. You see it, and it just nails, oh my god, it just nailed 3 of those Royal Pegasus Knights. So those guys were getting blasted, and you see up here, here's some shots coming in, and I don't think any of them are going to hit. They're a little bit too slow, the projectiles, but that is scaring off those Pegasus Knights quickly. So a big shot of those torpedoes, and coming around the back here is going to be those mounted yeomen with their Green Knight support. So those guys are trying to get around the back here. I think they are going to try to get here up into the cannon, but at this point, we're just going to keep our cannon firing. You see here, we follow a few more shots, and boom! It is just taking down, look at that. That is just 2 more dead Pegasus Knights. I mean, there is just a lot going on here for our cannon to shoot at. And luckily for us here in the back, although he does have these mounted yeomen that have gotten around, I am going to be able to, I think, get my Slayers back in time. So right now we're trying to move the cannon up. We're doing whatever we can. We're moving these Trollhammer Torpedoes around the back there. And we're just trying to get everything in place because this main engagement's about to happen. You can see there's a couple of shots coming in that are going to start hitting those Footsquires. And now remember, Footsquires don't have any shield, so the ranged units will actually do pretty well against them if they get a chance. You can see here we've got those mounted yeomen coming right back, and they're going to run right into my Trollhammer Torpedoes, who do not have any sort of useful melee attack. And I think that those Trollhammer Torpedoes just got caught out. I was trying to bring them around. I didn't really get them into place. You see another big shot landing. There's a row of Pegasus Knights are about half dead. And we're going to get on them. Let's see if you can see in here. Those Slayers are going to come in here, and they're just going to be chopping those row of Pegasus Knights to pieces. Those guys are, I mean, they're crazy, but that's the perfect target for those Slayers. They're going to cut those Pegasus Knights to pieces. You see here, we've got all of these mounted yeomen. Here, let's slow it down just for a second. So you can see we've got the mounted yeomen that are surrounding this group of Trollhammer Torpedoes. Those guys have really not paid for themselves at this point, but luckily we have got these Slayers in here. These guys will be assisting with their anti-large. They'll be able to cut these guys to pieces. Mounted yeomen are pretty weak units, and also these Quarrelers with great weapons. You can see them in here. You can see them just swinging those axes out for Harambe right now. You can see Alberic de Bordelot is in there, and he's just routing off my units left and right. So we are definitely getting hit pretty hard, but over here on the right, we're doing okay. So we've almost killed off that group of Pegasus Knights. We're going to be able to get our cannon back online, but unfortunately, we've pretty much sacrificed a lot of our backline units. Let's go ahead and look up here in the front. Oh, huge explosions coming in, though, from Ungrimlings. So you see, we've actually managed to wreck those Footsquires on that side just with some shots from Ungrimlings. You see here that Ungrim Iron Fist is in there with the rune negation on top of that Grumbling Guard. So a lot of these units are going to have trouble doing damage, especially 22% removed. You can see here we've got a face-off here. This is pretty awesome. We've got Ungrim going off against Albert here. But he's going to get surrounded. You see here we do have some Grumbling Guards that are getting in there. The Axe of Dargo has been activated, and I'm starting to get some big hits on Albert, Alberic. Even though you know he's actually a really strong duelist as well. You can see there, he's taking some big hits from Ungrim, so that is pretty good. You can see here that the Green Knight comes in here to kind of assist, and now Ungrim is surrounded. We've got the Rune of Oath and Steel up. Set up now, and we are just going to try to do everything we can to stay alive. Over here on the flank, we have managed to rout off all of those Pegasus Knights, and we're going to be getting our unit right back on top of the cannon so that hopefully he can continue shooting at these row of Pegasus Knights. I think you can see him. I think they're going to start getting on now, and we're just going to keep protecting these units here in the back. We'll go ahead and slow it down for just a second. You can see there's a bunch of dead bodies from these mounted yeomen. And the Iron Drakes, they've still got 14 units left, and they're going to come in and they're going to start blasting. We've also got some units left on these Quarrelers with great weapons. And this unit of Slayers is actually going to get in here and continue on with the fight. So here in the back, you can see the 3 groups of Footsquires are returning. But it is really just a massive amount of damage that's coming from Ungrim Iron Fist in his duel with Alberic. That he is doing some real good damage. I mean, in comes some flying Pegasus Knights though, and you can see there's just all sorts of units. I mean, there is just nasty cavalry, but luckily for us, we got those 2 Slayers. You can see that second group of Slayers coming in there, and they're going to do some major work against all of those large units like the you know, on top of the Griffin or the Pegasus Knights there. I mean, those guys will take major damage from the anti-large of those Slayers' axes. Here in the middle, you can still see some Quarreler shots coming down. And now we are, you know, there we go. You'll see a bunch more hits. There's a lot more Trollhammer Torpedo going to come in. You see a charge coming in from the Mounted Yeoman, but the balance of power is pretty heavily in my favor at this point. You can kind of get up above and see what's happening. But, I mean, there is just a lot of Dawi here. You can see it's just like ants. Most of the Footsquires have broken at this point. You see there's another group breaking off. The returning groups are pretty much gone. And so there's not a lot of frontline infantry. You can see there's some more big torpedo hits coming in from those rescued torpedoes. But at this point, it's really just down to the last few remaining troops. You can see here we still have plenty of Slayers remaining. We've got some Quarrelers that are coming back. The Iron Drakes with Trollhammer Torpedoes are taking some shots. And you can see them just coming in here. Big shots. Oh, man. 279. Alberic is down 2, and that I think that shot almost killed him, but boom! There goes the big hit from the cannon. It just knocks him out. It pretty much shatters the rest of the army. I think there's only the Green Knight remaining. The rest of the troops are lost to army losses. You can see there, I mean, the Green Knight is going to get in here. He's going to fight, but without anything else supporting him, there's not much he's going to be able to do. I mean, even though the Slayers don't have magic damage, they will start to cut through him just with their sheer anti-large. And as we get everyone in here, the Green Knight will slowly be going down. Let's go ahead and just speed it up. We'll go ahead and zoom in here while I just see the Green Knight taking on hordes and hordes of Dawi. So I'm like, I actually back up and get some big shots in on him, but that is just the end of the match. So it was a good battle. And if you take a look at really, these Nord Gremlings were able to do a lot. Once I watched it back through a couple of times, it was really amazing just how many big hits came in. And it allowed these frontline units, of course, which were much stronger than the Footsquires, to overwhelm them. The Footsquires just didn't have the defense to keep up in the long game. We were able to use some of these quarrelers and stuff to kill the mounted yeoman. It was important that we were able to stop those Royal Pegasus Knights with the cannon. You see the cannon actually did grab a chevron as well because of just the huge amount of damage it was laying out on those expensive Pegasus Knights. And when they did get in, they were taken out by Slayers. We were able to, I mean, just really able to shut down the cavalry on both sides, up on the hill and down below in the main battle. We also, I mean, the Trollhammer Torpedoes didn't do as good as I had hoped, but they still were able to get some shots off, and they were a big draw. So everyone wanted to kill them, so they were, they did get a bunch of units to come into our back line and ended up dying. So it worked out. 126 on the Gremlin Guard, who were the key guys of this game. I mean, they were fighting the whole time, but I mean, they were not. There was not a lot of places where people were not doing work. Even the Quarrelers with great weapons were able to get in there and swing those axes. And overall, it was just a great game. You can see here for my opponent. I mean, he's going with cavalry. He's going with armor piercing, but the hard part is getting through the defense. So if you're going with Footsquires, I kind of like to mix in some at least some peasants or some state troops, just a few of them, just to kind of get the body count up there and to give something to to kind of take some of the damage off of the Footsquires. Overall, though, I'm glad you guys are watching. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have not already, please subscribe for more great online content. There's going to be more content coming soon, you guys. I've been getting some more Warhammer in. I've hopefully got some fun battles for you guys, so I hope you enjoy. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Iron, and this has been another one of Black Iron's Battles.